Alright, I think we got it. Welcome back, folks. Level Up Royal here with you once again, and guys, it's finally time to explore the Anomaly. I got here last night. I really wanted to do it, but my brains were melted and I was just too tired, so here we all are. Alright guys, if you're a new player, it's going to seem overwhelming and super confusing at first, I know. But the more you visit it, it'll kind of start clicking and coming together. But yeah, in the beginning here, it's going to feel like a maze, and it's going to, again, just feel a bit overwhelming. So now, the first thing that, comes right into view is this machine, the Nexus, and basically it's just like the space stations where you can get missions, and you get, different rewards for those different missions. Now, I'm here too early game, I believe, so I can't quite do this yet. If it's your first time at the Anomaly, you'll be following right along with me. Okay, the next thing I want to point out just real briefly, this is where the events get triggered from. So, they do these expeditions from time to time. They're worthwhile. Usually bring home a lot of units, a lot of nanites, some kind of, cool logo or something, some builds, just, you never know. And they do give you a chance to throw in some starting equipment. Just be aware, what you take in, you might not want to bring back. So I wouldn't take like a whole stack of, say, wiring looms. Maybe like only half the stack of wiring looms. Alright, and from there, the Quicksilver, guys, that's another currency, and you'll earn that on the expeditions as well. And you can also get Quicksilver from doing Nexus missions there. And if you're a new player, some of the Nexus missions can be kind of tough, folks. I just want to throw that out there, so you might want to go in with a friend or a partner, but there's plenty of options that don't really involve combat, so just kind of pick and choose based on what you need and what you're willing to get into. And this is a Quicksilver vendor, pretty self-explanatory, but basically you trade in your Quicksilver for just, different random items. You might want to take a moment and just kind of familiarize yourself with this. There's like an elixir that'll help you find, the glimpse, just other random stuff in there, and that in itself can take some time to go through. Okay, so I mentioned getting units, guys. Every time I come to the Anomaly, unless I was just here like 5 minutes ago, I always talk to this dude. He's always got nanites waiting for me. Now, I've been slacking in my game, and I haven't been scanning a ton of stuff. So that's actually a pretty, low-end payday for that. Normally, I'm taking the time to scan everything. Scan all the minerals, the animals, the plants. And then, you'll get hundreds of nanites talking to this dude. And just like him, there's one more, but this one's for milestones. So in the beginning of the game, those milestones are just going to keep coming, guys. You're going to get a lot of them. And then at other times in the game, see, look at that, 800 freaking nanites. And then at other times in the game, it's going to be just very kind of lull, and you might only get, 50, 100 nanites out of that dude. Now this guy, he wants specific food items, and you can already see he's cooking things here that I wouldn't eat, and I hope you wouldn't eat, but he eats it. So yeah, I haven't quite dove into this personally. I'm sure this is a Google answer, but at someday I'm going to dive into this a little bit and just play with this and kind of see, what's what. I've given him some random things, that the dialogue option has given me the option to give him. He didn't want none of what I gave him, so I already know there's more to the story here than meets the eye. Okay, guys, these dudes are informational. This station here, this is a lot of fun. You can tame an animal in this game. You need creature pellets for that. But if you really like it, you can nurture it. You can feed it, you can pet it, ride it, whatever. And in time, it'll lay an egg. But it will only lay the egg and give it to you in its own environment. So after the timer runs out, you're going to have to go back to that planet, let it lay its egg. But then you can bring the egg here, and you can just put in random materials. Like, just... I don't know. I don't have any eggs right now, but I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So, growth hormone, and again, this might be a Google answer. I don't have the stuff memorized. But depending on what you want it to change, there's different mats that you can dump into each category here and do that, like dye injector. That one's more self-explanatory. It's pretty much the color of what you put in there. So, you know, if I wanted something like real bright gold or yellow, I would probably use uranium. If I wanted something nice and blue, you know, I'd probably use one of these, so on and so forth. Alright, that's pretty much it for this room. Here's an appearance modifier, nothing special, just like any other one. Actually, yeah, appearance modifier. Every space station has one. You can actually build those in your base. Alright guys, and if you're here, you know, first time, you're going to have to talk to both of these NPCs here. And you can see I've got a quest marker for one of them already. But this is, you know, key gameplay type of stuff here. I'm not going to do that personally. I'm going to, you know, get back to my overall playthrough here in a minute. But, yeah, absolutely, you know, talk to those, get your quest lines going. And guys, before I get into this, that's a big room. I'm going to go over one, actually, scratch that. There's another corridor. So there's the two NPCs I just talked about. That's kind of like the center. And just to give you guys a visual reference of where we are, we're right above that Nexus machine down there. So again, that's a big room. That's where all our crafting specs are. So I'm going to take a quick left. And there's a big shiny portal here. There's a room over here. That's way later game. There's this guy right here. And this is kind of like a multi-tool scrap dealer. You might want to, you know, spend a minute, talk to this dude, you know, kind of go through the dialogue options and just be familiar with it. Early game, you probably don't need to worry about it too much unless, you know, you need some quick units or something. But, yeah, just, you know, take a minute and peruse that store there. This is another thing I've never really dove into. I know I've come here before. I know I've had to do something here before, but again, this is like way later game. This is like an Atlas thing. It's just mentally eluding me right now. You know, it was 5 years ago I probably played this, so yeah, I just know this is a later game thing, and I'm pretty sure storyline brings you here at some point. Right now we just can't do anything. So that's that. And that is a dead-end room. Okay guys, the terminal, this is confusing. Yes, it works like every other terminal in the game, however, you've got more options here. Now, if you've got multiplayer enabled, you're going to notice I've got a whole bunch of just people running around. And they have these diamonds above their head. You can, you know, scan them and get their names, whatever. But, you know, if you need to play with some randos to get some missions done, that's a good way to do it. You can marry up with people, work together for the mission, and then just, you know, that's that. But, be careful. Maybe make sure if you're going to do that, you go into your settings. Very important here. Options, network. Now, you won't have this tab if you don't have multiplayer enabled. So if you don't have this, then you don't have to worry. You can't interact with anyone else anyway. In fact, you're probably going to be here by yourself. But yeah, go into network and make sure, you know, anyone can join my group. That way, you know, if you need to marry up with a rando, it's not blocking that. You know, all these allow that, or, you know, disable it if you want. I do not want allow PvP, so I'm going to shut that off right now. I'm not a PvP player. I'm more just in it for, you know, the beauty of the game. So yeah, I'll probably enable voice chat there. Can add base parts? Heck no. Now, default, that should be no one. I do not know why the default is, you know, everyone. So again, this is just kind of precautionary in case you want to marry up with a rando for some Nexus missions. Can delete? No, I don't want anyone deleting base parts. Now, you know, at some point, if you have someone you know, like a family member or a friend, you know, you can change that to friends only. So, you know, you and your friend can build on your base and you don't have to worry about them wrecking it for no reason. But, yeah, for me, for right now, no one. So same options in both guys. Sure, I don't care if people see my ship marker. I don't care if they see me on the ground. They can't engage with me anyway. No, I don't want them messing with my base terrain, so I'm going to shut that off also. And yeah, I'll go ahead and let them use my refiners. Sometimes I set up a base for, you know, refining purposes, and I'll upload it. So if anybody else needs it, they're welcome to it. So this way they can dump the mats in right there. You know, the refiners are there for them. and they can get some use out of the base there. So yeah, I will open that up to anyone. Speech to text, yeah, so, okay. So the important stuff was, you know, the base parts. You do not want a rando who's just having a bad day to go in there and wreck your stuff. Okay, I don't see an apply button, so I guess I just return here. Okay, it looks like I dropped a save there. Perfect. Okay, so getting back to, you know, network players, so those are what those diamonds are all about, the little white diamonds. Each one of those is a rando. So I wanted to point the rando thing out because if you're doing multiplayer and you visit the Nexus here, or the portal here on the Anomaly, guys, you're going to have a whole bunch of options that you've never seen before. Now, these are community highlights that the No Man's Sky people get together and decide on. They're just builds, you know. I visited a couple of these from time to time just to look at them. There's really nothing to do there other than to just look at the build. But, you know, when I upload my bases, I like to have stuff to do there, not just aesthetics. But anyway, yeah, they're big. They're massive builds. Some of these are just very intricate. There's some building skills here, guys. Like this thing in the sky. Once upon a time, there was a community highlight here where some guy built a sky base and he made it look like an actual floating space station. It was very cool. So again, just, you know, the community highlights are usually noteworthy, and it's definitely worthwhile to check out some just different build skills, and it'll really give you some ideas and open up that creativity on your own bases and builds. So now, I've got a whole bunch of bases here that are not mine. I've only dropped one base in my game, and it is not named any of these. In fact, I think my base name is 3 First Eligibles. So, you know, here's the space station I visited. Actually, I visited 3 now. So that all works the same. Your bases are down there, your space stations are down there. But what's different about the Anomaly portal in particular is look at all these other bases, guys. So the way this works is I entered the Anomaly from a system. Normally, if you're at a space station, it will go to your bases, and there will be another option there for other bases. Now, I don't have that here in the Anomaly, but the other bases shows you all bases within that particular solar system. So if you're the only base there, you're not going to see anything else. If there's like a ton of other people's bases there, you're going to see them all. So the Anomaly kind of works the same way, only it's not limited to just the solar system you came in from. That's where it gets confusing. So if you hit all, this is all the bases from all the solar systems of all these other randos. So just, you know, try to mentally picture that spidering out a little bit. So wherever all these dudes came from, those are the bases within those solar systems. And sometimes this can get very extensive. Some of these solar systems, guys, have tens, hundreds of bases. So if one of these dudes enters from one of those really busy solar systems, you're going to see a whole bunch of bases on here. So again, I just wanted to kind of clear that up. I have gotten a question on this, and I thought, yeah, you know what? This confused me too. It's probably worth spending a few minutes talking about. Okay, but moving right along, guys, we're back in that central corridor kind of thing. The Nexus is out there right in front of me where my ship is parked. And this is it, the last kind of thing to show you here in the Anomaly. Guys, there's all these stations. Now these vendors here, nanites. You're going to need nanites to buy the tech, and they're all pretty self-explanatory, you know, starship research. And these are blueprints, guys. It's not like the space stations. You don't get the modules. You actually learn the blueprint so you can craft your own perpetually, as long as you have the mats. So yeah, again, self-explanatory, starship, exosuit. Now, every time you summon the Anomaly to a new system, guys, you can always take a moment and get yourself another inventory spot. So every time you go to a new solar system, visit the space station, bam, inventory. Recall the Anomaly, bam, inventory. Jump to the next system, do the same thing. So every time you jump systems, you can get 2 inventory spots doing this. Okay, so exosuit. Again, you know, getting back to the tech vendors here. So we got starship, exosuit, multi-tool over here. And they usually, you know, have a random weapon there that you can purchase or not. And then you've got the exocraft. So, you know, spend some time, kind of see what's what, and some of these have more than one page. So you might have to get in there to the menu and bumper, you know, left or right to get more options there. Now these ones in the middle, I think this one consumes nanites. This opens up building specs for like just the more obscure, you know, like lattice crystals, or just, you know, there's just so much of the game, you know, I can't spit them all out. But anyway, there's quite a menu in there. Again, open it up, familiarize yourself. That to me isn't a very urgent thing. That's probably a later game thing, if ever. But over here, these are going to be all of the building and technology blueprints. And guys, this is the early game when you're going to want to pay attention to, especially for me and my playstyle. I go right for the technology module. So here it is. This is opened. All stuff is available to us, but it's expensive. Landing pads, expensive. Trade terminal, expensive. But hey, you can have a store right there in your own base. What else are we covering here? I go straight for... Where's the industrial stuff? Okay, so I go straight for some of this stuff too, for passive farming, guys. So, you know, there's your powerhouses. That electromagnetic generator is a beautiful thing to have, but again, it's expensive. This is all salvage data. So that stuff that I've been taking time to run around and dig up, worth it. And sometimes you can find vendors on planets that actually sell salvage data. I buy it every time. Okay, so the mineral, you know, just all this stuff. Yeah, so again, just, you know, be familiar with what's here. I like to open up some of the plants, you know, because those are money makers. But again, expensive. And there's all your structures opened up. I really like the glass. I absolutely love glass structures in this game. It's a beautiful game. Sometimes you find a base site and you're like, wow! Glass. And you've got, you know, the wood, the concrete, it's all open to you now, and there's the alloy. So guys, in a nut, I'll show you just one random, you know, technology vendor just to show you how that works. And unfortunately, when you unlock something, it kicks you back out. You have to talk to him again and spam buttons. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, if you're just here to buy one thing, it's not a big deal. So now I don't have any bumper options here, but so yeah, it's nanites, guys. You can see some of this stuff gets pretty pricey. So you know, I'll show you in my overall walkthrough how you can farm nanites. You know, so where this really isn't an issue. But I've got some buying power with nanites thanks to my milestones. So yeah, when I get back into my regular playthrough, I'm going to start shopping. So folks, I genuinely hope that helped you all out. Please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and comment. That is always appreciated. And until the next time, best of luck and happy traveling.